Exotic pulse rifles are one of the lesser loved exotic classes in Destiny at the moment, so I figured it's time to put together a ranked list for them since I've made a list for every other exotic primary out there. I'll not be doing the exotic adept primaries from the raid since I don't feel like those are true exotics. We'll start out with PvE. At the bottom of the list we have Red Death. Its signature perk used to cause you to start regenerating your health on any kill. Now it just restores a chunk of your health. This is arguably better in some circumstances, like if you're being completely overwhelmed by enemies. However, the base weapon still has some jumpy recoil and nothing else really going for it. Most of the time in PvE, I would rather you take some other legendary pulse rifle since Red Death doesn't really make a good case for using up your exotic weapon slot. At number 3, we have No Time to Explain. The main perk on this gun is a little bit deceptive. Seeing precision hits cause that round to be immediately refunded to the magazine sounds amazing. Assuming you always land precision shots, you will never run out of ammo. The DPS must be amazing on bosses. Well, your initial impressions are half right. You can indeed never run out of ammo provided you hit precision shots and don't go against any shielded enemies. However, the damage isn't exactly stellar against bosses. The main perk here just makes for a good general utility perk to accompany the full auto fire of the gun. Headseeker is also kinda nice as well. At number 2 on the list, we have Bad Juju. The signature perk of this gun has been one of the top tier perks in PvE since vanilla Destiny. The ability to instantly reload on kill, increase damage, and charge your super is just unparalleled in all but Zalo's Supercell's pushed perk list. It's fortunate that Bad Juju has had such a powerful perk behind it because the normal combat utility of the gun just never quite clicked with me. No matter how I spec it, the recoil just always seemed a little bit too jumpy to me. It makes getting precision kills a little bit more difficult, which is something I always try to go for with these lower impact type weapons. The full auto on the gun does help out in fights where you have a large amount of enemies in front of you, or maybe just some higher health pool ones, and you don't feel like pressing the trigger more than once. The number 1 slot in PvE is taken by Outbreak Prime. It's curious how everything leading up to this gun has interesting utility perks and niche perks, yet the weapon that wins out is the one that just has raw damage behind it. Outbreak Prime's nanite swarm on multiple hits as well as swarms on precision kills do some amazing extra damage to groups of enemies and bosses as well. The 36 round magazine is pretty good too. So much so that one of the most effective strategies for the first boss in Wrath of the Machine is Outbreak Prime. Just primary away and let the nanites do the bulk of the damage. And now, let's go over to PvP. I need to warn you that all of these guns in PvP are, well, they're pretty suboptimal to say the least. So even though I'm taking the time to go through all these, just know that a decently rolled Hawksaw, PDX-45, or Waltz will absolutely destroy the exotic pulse rifles without competition. At number 4, for PvP, we have No Time to Explain. There are 2 main factors that really limit this gun from doing well right now. The first is the extremely bright muzzle flash. One thing that instantly kills you in PvP is not being able to see your enemies. The second major thing is simply the archetype. This is effectively just a slower time to kill than the faster Hawksaw variety of pulse rifle. It's a shame because the other stats on the weapon are pretty much perfect for PvP. Open sights, full auto, high stability, but archetype and an overzealous muzzle flash are just keeping the gun down for right now. Number 3 is taken by Bad Juju. The instant reload and damage boost on kill is always going to be useful in PvP. However, the increased super energy just isn't going to be terribly useful here since it really only starts working when you get multi-kills. Single kills, you're not going to see that much of a benefit from it. The jumpy recoil of the gun is the other major factor that you will have to fight quite a bit. Still, it does get the job done for most PvP engagements, provided you can hit precision shots. Red Death is surprisingly going to take number 2 for PvP. It was in a significantly better state when it granted you complete health regeneration rather than the chunk it does now, but you still can't deny that any health regen is going to swing some fights in your favor. Red Death still does suffer from some jumpy recoil though, and it's in the medium rate of fire archetype, just like No Time to Explain. So even when using this gun at its peak efficiency, you're probably gonna lose fights. The number 1 slot is again taken by Outbreak Prime. One of the chief factors for this is it being in the Hawksaw archetype of pulse rifle, so it has a reasonable time to kill as well as fantastic base stats. The utility of the nanites probably won't come up much in PvP since it requires some really really niche circumstances. However, the Nanite Storm on Precision Kill is most definitely going to land you some extra damage in playlists like Control, where people stay grouped up together. That about wraps it up. PvE definitely has some decent weapons to pick from. However, if you're looking for a pulse rifle for PvP, you should stay away from the exotic ones. Their niche perks just don't really do a hell of a lot when the weapons themselves are too inconsistent and they're up against a playfield that's working entirely against them. I hope you found this video helpful. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.